I think this is episode 6, and we're getting started correctly. I'm Arthur Perkins. This is APGamingREAL. Welcome to Battletech, A Time of Total Warfare, episode 6, aka Kuddelmuddel. We have a new episode naming structure for the second arc. So let's do some introductions and all of that stuff. Apparently people in chat are thirsty for the clans. As I've said, the third arc of season 1 will involve the clans. So if you wait, good things will come, or terrible things, terribly overpowered things will come, like ERPPCs. Yeah.
ERPPCs, large lasers, high capacity heat sinks.
No, I mean, high capacity heat sinks are okay. Large lasers, come on. What is this? Everyone knows medium laser spam. Disco swayback is the number one strategy. Yeah, it's been a week. And I'm sure it'll be another week, but it's a new year. It's 2018 now, so we've lived that far. This is how far we've gotten. Let's find out what's going on with everybody. Rad, you seem contemplative, so I'm going to jump to you first.
Pensive. That's a good word. Pensive. I like that. No, I was actually looking at the other tabs of the character Excel sheet.
Oh, yeah.
And just thinking about how little I actually know how to play this game.
That's good, because today we're probably not going to do any mech work, and it'll all be with our characters.
See how bad our characters actually are outside of mech.
People have very specific things to say about how bad your characters are, actually.
Oh, let's hear them. I want to know. Have you kept a list?
Myself.
Let's see here.
Also, I apologize for my setup today. I had to choose between mouse or microphone. I'm casting from a different place today, so I'm using a different camera, and things are weird. So if my head gets chopped off or anything like that, sorry about that. I'm doing my best. I'm also in this weird space chair that I don't know how to operate.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, so that's why I'm all over the place today. I'm doing good. I had a good week. It's my wife's last week of Christmas vacation. She goes back to work on Monday. So we've been incredibly unproductive, just laying around, watching a lot of Netflix, chasing my children around, putting away Christmas vacation or Christmas decorations and stuff like that. What else? Anything exciting happening in Rad's life? I'm excited for my tax return.
It's not for a while, isn't it?
We get ours. We enter ours like the first day it's available, so we get it back like really early. We have all of our ducks in a row to like immediately submit our taxes. We get our check pretty quick. And then I also found out that when I first started working in education 13 years ago, I guess I signed up semi-unknowingly for like a savings plan in addition to like the normal TRS like retirement system. And they sent me a letter today, and they're like, "You haven't been in education for a year. You're now eligible to draw out your savings stuff." I was like, "Oh, cool. I wonder how much was in there." And there was a lot in there, so I'm pretty excited to pull that out. I guess I'll get like a 10% penalty or whatever for pulling out.
Yeah, it'll be pretty bad for pulling that out early.
But I mean, if they're holding my money, they're making money off my money. Whereas if I'm holding my money, I'm making money off of my money. Economics 101.
Indeed.
Girls. So even if I have less money than they have that is my money, I will still have the money and they will not. So the 10% penalty at this point is fairly worth it, considering I'll make that back here in the next 10 years if I'm holding the money and investing it for me as opposed to them holding it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll also be able to use it to pay off some debts that I'm none too happy about. So life is good, I guess. Financially, things are taking an upturn for me, so that's always good. I'm kind of in the middle of restructuring my commission work. I'm a commissionable artist. You can commission me to draw things for you, but I'm restructuring that, so I'm not currently taking on any projects, but I will start taking on projects again soon. My wife she self-proclaimed herself my manager, so she's trying to change not my direction. She's trying to put me back on track. We're going to try this thing where I try and do smaller projects more often as opposed to always taking on giant projects, which is unfortunate because giant projects are always what gets thrown my way. So Yeah, got that going on in the art world. I'm gonna start teaching Chinese children how to speak English. So that'd be pretty interesting. And other than that, I don't know. We could go on to somebody else. I don't have.
So
I don't
how
have-
badly are you going to mess with them when you're teaching them English?
I would a lot, but it's a pre-developed curriculum. So basically, as long as you're a certified
Aw.
teacher, yeah, as long as you're a certified teacher, you can get this job. And you basically wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to teach them in the evening. Well, the lessons start. You gotta wake up before that. I mean, unless you do it in your pajamas or whatever. But the lesson starts at 5 o'clock. You teach a kid for an hour. You might do a couple kids a day, make a couple extra grand a month. So that's gonna be my new side job.
All
I go
right.
to the conference for it on the 6th, so I'll be able to tell you more.
Excellent.
All I got.
That sounds good. Sid, what do you have going on?
Very little this week. I haven't even put out a video at all this week so far, because I've been dealing with persistent migraines and the like, and that's never fun, and generally lack of concentration. So I decided that I'll just take it easy until all that stuff goes away, and because sometimes you have to lay aside the quantity for the sake of the quality. And I'd rather hold off talking about some stuff until I can actually have my brain be able to focus on it, as opposed to just putting out some rote garbage that nobody's going to like.
Really? That's my strategy.
Yeah, but everybody
go.
likes your stuff
There we
so
go.
far.
Maximum amount of garbage. I mean, yeah.
I also I invested far more time than I really am comfortable with playing Destiny 2, so I could get my head better wrapped around that game. And it was even more of a disappointment than I thought. You literally see everything this game has to offer in less than 20 hours. Actually, I'd say less than 15. And it's a full $60 game with an expansion pack already out and another one on the way.
I don't know what you were
And-
expecting.
We can't all be Final Fantasy 15.
I guess. Yeah, everything about that game is absolutely lackluster. I do have to say the gunplay is somewhat satisfying. It feels very Overwatch-esque in the way the guns feel and everything like that.
Probably more
Like if you're running around
Halo
with Soldier 76.
to Halo.
Yeah, I was gonna
Because
say.
it was
so-
made by
That's fair
Bungie.
because it's Bungie, Halo, yeah.
It's you could probably compare it more to Halo than Overwatch.
Soldier
which is,
76,
it's a-
the least satisfying and shittiest hero. Yeah.
Hey
Nailed
now. Go fuck
Take
yourself.
resent. Yeah, it's like I play Soldier, all right.
Yeah,
No,
I
'cause
know you're all trash. Don't worry.
I
I'm
got
aware.
some comments on my my Christmas video for Destiny 2, and Bungie is like, you haven't played enough of the game. It's like, all right, I'll take that. I'll play all the way through the single player campaign, and I'll play through everything as much as I can of the game. And I have, and it did not take me long at all. Everything else about the game left is grinding out the same garbage over and over again to get a slightly higher number on your power level.
Yep.
Not fun.
Destiny
Not
1
fun
and
at all.
2.
Because I think playing that game so much is actually where a lot of my migraine came from. Which is a shame.
I don't know about that. That sounds like a pretty extreme reaction.
Well, whenever I play shooters for long periods of time, I tend to lean in really close to the monitor and I don't blink at all. So my eyes were extremely irritated from just drying out. And
A rookie. It's a rookie. That's what we got here.
Obviously, you need to make your review video and call it "Destiny Gave Me Cancer" and have hashtag Destiny 2 kills, all your tags in there.
Gave my eyes cancer.
Made my brain die.
also my headshot ability has improved quite a bit, though. I have to say. But yeah, I have no desire to ever touch that game ever again. I've got some gameplay footage. I've got some cutscenes recorded. That's all I need. I'm uninstalling that game. Good riddance. So bad.
Well, all right,
Other than
then.
that, I haven't had much going on at all. It's been a pretty chill week.
Pondo, what do you got?
Just had episode 1 of my show this past week. Seems to be going well. Everybody's having a good time.
Streets of New Chicago.
You got it right this time.
I know. I prepared myself before the stream.
I was halfway expecting you to say Shadows of New Chicago.
I had to make sure it wasn't Streets of New Seattle, because that's where all Shadowrun games take place, is the shittiest city in the world.
Yeah. I figured that'd be Detroit.
Arthur's got nothing but shade
that-
tonight.
That or
Just wait, I haven't even done my
throwing it
intro
out.
yet.
Just
Not yet
getting
yeah,
warmed
begun.
up.
that's going well. Seem to be having fun with it. They're excited.
People can go watch
And,
this 5e Shadowrun blend at youtube.com/Pondothemad and find out what's going on there.
Yeah.
All right, just making sure. We want to be super specific about it.
Yep. And it'll be up at on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/Pondothemad
All right.
tomorrow. I'll have it up tomorrow. Yeah. And then I recently got Homefront and Homefront Revolution. Have no idea. Homefront was like okay. It's okay so far. Revolution, I don't know yet. Haven't played it yet. Heard it's bad.
Trying to recall what Homefront was.
It's essentially Red Dawn, the remake. I could say because it's
Oh.
where North Korea takes over. It's like Red Dawn, but with North Koreans.
Red
So,
Dawn. Amazing.
A shitty Red Dawn.
First off, you
Pretty
really
much.
can't have a shitty Red Dawn.
Yeah, I
Well, there
remember that
was-
movie. I remember the remake of Red Dawn. It was
With Chris Hemsworth. And,
vastly inferior to the first one. To the
Yeah,
original.
Josh
Red
Peck.
Dawn. Even what was it? The Simpsons did a Red Dawn shout out. All right, look.
So,
It might not have been as good as the original Red Dawn, but really you can't go wrong with that formula.
Nah.
no, I mean it's not a bad movie by any means at all. It's just not as good as the original. Of course, there's a lot of nostalgia factoring into that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because 80s. The good old 80s. Michael Bay wished he was fucked up as the 80s movies.
Wow. Some harsh ass words. All right.
Speaking of the 80s, I watched Despicable Me 3 with my children.
Oh,
I don't know if any of you have seen it, but the best part of the movie is the villain, because he's an all 80s themed villain, and he just everything he
Nice.
does fucking kills me. It's hilarious.
Nice.
So yeah, he's got like the big shoulder pads like in his costume and stuff. He like his weapon is like a keytar. He like shoots like 80s jams at people. It's fucking great. It's so good. I don't know how good the movie was because I was so fixated on the villain and like his gimmick that I didn't even pay attention to the rest of the movie.
Oh my god, now I have to see it.
Sounds like you'll be ready for
He's really good.
Incredibles too.
I am. I'm a sucker for Pixar. Well, and Despicable Me isn't even Pixar, but with two small children's, I watch all the children's movies. So if you ever need a children's movie, maybe that's what I should do. Maybe that should be my YouTube
Children's
channel.
movie
Arthur,
reference of the
is I
week.
should review children's movies so parents can watch my review before they drag their children to go see it.
But you'd have to go see it the week.
I mean, I
comes
do
out.
anyway.
All right,
I've seen them
well
all.
All right.
I'm gonna run that by my manager and see what she thinks.
Okay.
The kid or the wife?
I think it's the wife.
My wife.
Pondo, anything else? Before we get
That's about it.
too far off track. Englishmudkips, how are you doing? You're muted. That's how you're doing. Classic introduction mistake happens.
Well,
all
he's
the time.
doing great. Moving on. And still can't
Am
hear.
I muted?
Now
There
you're
you
unmuted.
go.
Yeah, I just had to unmute and mute. I was speaking for ages. God damn it. Well, I'm doing fine now. How my past week has been going, I've just been drawing up plans and arranging interviews for the past week. Hopefully trying to get a job.
Mm.
Mm.
It's never fun.
Mm. It's going to be like a apprenticeship sort of, but I still get paid full wage.
That's good. That's a
Well,
good
that's
deal.
good. Yeah.
The company just has to pay 23% and the government pays the rest, which is good for them and good for me.
Yeah, we get something similar to that with some of the local colleges.
Yeah. Oh,
They
and
get they get work credit. So we basically employ one or two kids over the course of the summer or something for free, and they get paid actually by the school,
yeah. Oh, and Sid,
which is kind of great.
with Destiny 2, there's a rumor going around from a very reputable source that the Destiny 2 was actually a rebooted halfway through production.
Yes, I heard about that myself. It does not surprise me because the entirety of Destiny 2 feels like nothing more than an expansion pack for Destiny 1.
Yeah, because Destiny 2 was being made since 2014. That's like after Destiny 1 was released and before the first expansions.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, well, 3 to 4 years. That's a very common development cycle for a game like that when they already have most of the core engine work already completed.
Mhm.
3 to 4 years is not unheard of at all.
Yeah. Anyone watched any new animes?
Yeah, lots of them.
No, actually.
I'm just saying, Sid, you reviewing Love Live would probably make 2018 for me. If William Shatner can have a favorite Love Live character, so can you.
All right, I'll see what I can do to make this happen.
Love
Maybe
Live.
it'll be my birthday video.
Listen,
where
if
I
you can get
review
through the
Love Live.
first 3 episodes, I'll be proud of you, buddy. And I think, like all Love Live, once you start watching it, you basically will just never stop, ever.
I don't know.
Give it a shot,
We'll
Sid.
see.
Give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
We've got a recording here. No, it's literally a blood oath. He's bound to it.
No, it's a blood oath.
Yeah.
Like what is?
Don't you know how
Lord.
these
And
things
here I
work?
just started watching Legend of the Seeker again.
Really? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that show had a weird production.
It really did. It was trying to be like Xena and Hercules, but at the same time not.
It tried to stay kind of close to the...
It tried to stay close to the books, at least reasonably so.
I mean, and then Kalan and Kara's actors were both best friends in real life, and so it made for a weird filming where they're like, all right, now we have to fight each other every single week for the entire first episode, and then we're best friends in the show, I guess?
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of weird because I'm going back through and just watching. It's like the guy that plays Richard. It's like, did someone never tell him to like just not do so many things? Because like every single time you see him and
Bad.
Kayla near each other, they're like face to face, inches away, and he's just heavy breathing right into her face. It's like that would drive me insane. I mean,
He's
it's so
absolutely
realistic.
the
though.
worst actor out of all of the people that were on that show, including the guy who played Dark and Raw.
Oh my god, the guy that played Dark and Raw was so bad. And I
Makes me
didn't get it too because Richard, the actor Richard, he's a tiny little man, but in the books, Richard was supposed to be this big brawny man, McHuge and large.
I mean, no one's supposed to be as big as Chase, right? I mean, Chase's job was literally be a huge, big, tough dude and kill rabbits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he ended up, like, I don't remember the book canon super well, but I remember he would just go on Warpaths and kill dozens of dudes and then show up at home with a new orphan for his wife.
Yeah.
By the end of the book, he'd gathered like 15 children
Yeah, this
for
is
no
just a
apparent
small
reason.
army of kids.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people have you killed
That
now,
series
Chase? How
is
many
fucking
hundreds?
weird, man.
That series was awesome.
No,
The
it
book
wasn't.
series. The book series was
No,
awesome.
still not awesome.
I loved the
The
book
first
series.
couple of books were good.
Uh,
It really broke down.
yeah, right when he got into you're actually a battle mage. Fucking,
Yes.
it's like, okay, really.
The first time you hear the word Jagang, you're way past where the books are good. Oh boy, buddy. Oh boy. I feel like Terry Goodkind sat down and came up with the first couple rules and then started adding extra rules as the series became popular and didn't really think about how they would start conflicting with each
See,
other.
I think about halfway or 3/4 of the way through the series of books, he just realized these are just cash in books at this point. I could have wrapped this 3 books ago, but everyone keeps buying the hell out of them, so
Speaking
I'll
of
just
that
keep
bullshit,
writing.
you see Game of Thrones isn't even going to come out until next year?
What?
Yep. Not until
Yeah,
next year. That's some
They've
bullshit.
known that for a long time.
That's some bullshit.
It's because they can't run 2 productions at the same time right now because all the casts are in the same place now. So they were running like 2 different locations, 2 different production teams, and they can't do that anymore. They have to produce it all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So mad.
Well, they're making like 5 feature length like movies, basically.
That all the episodes are like 2 hours, right? Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, like an hour and a half or something like that.
I really just want to have one more awkward scene of Bronn and Cersei avoiding each other on camera, where Bronn's like, "Oh, the Queen's coming! It's time for us to go."
All I care about is Brienne and Tormund at this point. I just want that to happen. That's all I'm
I haven't even seen the latest season yet.
You're
so I have
missing
no
out.
idea
The
what
latest
hell is
season
going
was
on.
actually pretty
It's really
good.
good. Yeah.
As long as you avoid the fact that everyone mysteriously gained the ability to fast travel across the 7 kingdoms, then
Yes.
it's pretty good.
If you can suspend, well,
Also, that one of the villains' name is Urine.
yeah.
Urine?
Yes, it's Urine.
Please tell me it's at least spelled with a Y.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's
But his name is still Urine.
It's Euron in the same way
It's
that
urine.
Uranus is Uranus. Like
It's urine. For sure, it's urine.
Is it spelled like Huron, but everyone pronounces it urine?
Euron.
correct.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. I mean, Game of Thrones has all kinds of problems, but at least the show is better than the books. I know. It's just going to cause a battle there. Just calm down. Speaking of anime, just to jump all the way back to English, I actually skipped over watching any anime at all on New Year's Day, and then I immediately plunged back into anime again, and then stepped sideways into reading a manga. This is a thing I normally avoid because I'm not big into comic books. But it seems like the only mangas I've read at this point, all 3 of them have the collective capacity to all be shoujo manga, which are specifically for like teenage girls. So I don't know how this keeps happening. But I swear to God, I'm never reading another shoujo manga again. It's not happening.
The only manga I have is English version of Dragon Ball
No,
manga.
no.
To where Krillin
No.
goes against Master Roshi in the tournament.
I don't see.
It stops there.
This
and
is
that's
what
the
I don't
best
understand, buddy. Like, especially with a show like Dragon Ball,
But it's the uncensored
reading it
manga.
in a
thing.
flat book where people aren't moving and saying like, "Oh, I'm charging my laser beams,"
They're just
and
playing pages.
incredible animation, right? Like, what's the fucking point? There's no soundtrack. There's no planet exploding in the background, and Frieza's like, "That's right, it's me, Frieza again. I'm back for like the 4th movie in a row."
I don't even own the freaking Freezer arc of books. I just own that one book.
But my point is,
I know,
anime
yeah.
is superior to manga in every way.
It's good when you don't to read when you don't have internet.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But I'm the same as you at the moment, AP. I haven't watched any anime since New Year.
I mean, the problem is there's no new anime out except for I guess I can talk about this one because it's actually dope as fuck. It's called The Place at the End of the Universe. Place Beyond the Universe. Man, I don't know the title, but it's about 4 high school girls who are tired of doing nothing with their lives and decide they want to go to Antarctica to go find some chick's dead mother. And I'm like, this story is going to be a tragedy. I could tell this already. And I go in, everybody's smiling and happy the whole time. And I'm like, all right, I did not anticipate what this show was going to be about. It's totally different than what I thought it was. But at some point, they're going to be in Antarctica.
So
It
the
looks
place
amazing.
beyond the edge of the universe, that they went there in Star Trek at one point.
Listen, they did
Remember
a lot
that.
in Star Trek.
They talked to a big cloud head.
Will Wheaton took them there.
What a
Well-
dick.
Will Wheaton, really? We're jumping to the Will Wheaton.
Dick
All right.
move as usual.
Will
On
Wheaton's a
par.
good guy in real life. He just doesn't roll very good in D&D.
Yeah, I mean, he got wrecked super bad repeatedly at the Penny Arcade. Gosh, what's
Yeah.
it called?
The,
Acquisitions
Acquisitions
Incorporated. Man,
Just-
he got destroyed at Acquisitions Incorporated like 3 years in a row.
Even if you don't watch that show, going back and watching his character die, whatever episode that is, if you can find out when Aofel dies in Acquisitions Incorporated, it's worth it. Because he just like falls in an acid pit and there's not like shit he can do except dissolve. It's fantastic. And you watch him pitch this baby fit the whole time. Chris Perkins is like, "You're dead, bro." Like,
I mean, it keeps happening though. Like, and they keep making fun of him for it. Like
Yeah.
for 4
Not one,
episodes
not one, not
afterwards,
one.
until he finally just rages out of the show.
because he shows up with like a 12-page backstory, like novelization, and then he always gets
5
shot
seconds.
up.
I mean, listen, the players of Acquisitions Incorporated have always had a variety of skills, but no one has a better vow of enmity than Will Wheaton. When he showed up and was like, I have this
Oh, yeah.
declaration, the vow of enmity, I was like, God damn, this is real good.
Yeah.
This is some good role playing right here. And then someone will be like, I'm Binwin Broadsbottom. I sit down, I take a poop, and I drink a beer. And I'm like, all right, it's funny, but it's not like Will, okay? It's not like Will. Now Binwin's out, too. Like,
Yep.
jeez. Acquisitions Incorporated has changed a lot. All right. Anything else we need to cover before we get started with destroying your lives?
Mm-mm.
Apparently, people want to see me talk in open comms with Klansmen.
Yeah, I mean, you're so good at negotiations right now.
I
I don't
mean-
think that's going to happen.
I mean, me personally, I would love to see that, but my character is new.
So, we start the second arc with a dropship floating in deep space next to a jump ship, and it's being pulled back into the jump ship slowly by some ropes as they reattach. And the bottom left-hand corner of the screen says, Final Jump to Hood 4, May 8th, 3049, I think. Did I get the years wrong again? 3048. There we go. May 3048. And the ship name says General Kerensky, and then it gets sideways cut out, and it just says the Crow's Nest over it. You can see someone has graffiti tagged the outside of the ship with the words General Kerensky, but we move inside the ship, and we can see the 4 main mechs, our Griffin, our Crab, the Panther, and the Wolverine, are all in not pristine condition, but they're all fixed. All of the weapons have been replaced. All the armor is there. They've been repainted and look beautiful. The Battle Master is so massive that it can't take up any of the mech stalls, so all of the vehicles had to be moved out of the vehicle bay and are being held in harnesses in 0G above each other in a super precarious way. The pack rat is at the bottom, and the flamethrower on the side of it, where there used to be flames, there's now still flames, but there's like a smiling cat face with red hair and ears, and it says 9 lives on the
Perfect.
side of it.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That's her
And the-
voice line.
The Battle Master takes up the rest of the vehicle bay. It's very cramped in there, and it looks super bad. We listen in on two people complaining as the camera begins to go through, zooming into the ship, and they're like, ugh, after 4 months of this, Union-class dropships were meant for assault, not for transportation. It smells. And we continue into the command center of the ship beneath the bridge, where there's a briefing going on. All of our characters are there, and all the command staff. And the chief financial officer and executive officer of the unit, Lieutenant Crystal Loft, is in the middle of the briefing, and she's pulled up numbers everywhere and says, as you can see here, we're in a bit of a bind, even with this contract. It looks like it's going to cost us 2.5 million C-bills in order to maintain all of our equipment, and another 2 million for the ship. And then we need to make a 1.6 million loan payment every month, which means with our 7 million contract, we're only making 900,000 C-bills a month. We're going to need to save everything we can. The only good news is that if there's combat on this operation, we have an 80% salvage rate. We'll be able to take home everything that we get, more or less. The bad news is that they aren't paying for repairs, so try not to get damaged out there.
Well then, we'll try and stop blowing up mechs with fusion hits. I think that might help.
So the lieutenant just like slowly turns to look at Death Wish, makes it clear that she wished she would fall over and die rather than interrupt her briefing. Someone coughs slightly in the background. Slowly turns her head back.
And just give her a little smirk.
Now, on the face of it, our contract is to go in and run cadre for 6 months. We'll be working for Commonwealth Hotel, and then she looks down at her paper again. This can't be right. Commonwealth Grand Hotel Interstellar. We're working for a hotel company? All right. Well, apparently we're training the hotel security forces in anti-mech. This is the first I've heard of this. And she just looks at her boss, Captain Crow, and he's just like,
I'm okay with this. It sounds like not.
I just like.
I wonder if do they fold like the towels like little dogs like they do sometimes?
If
yes,
I may.
Death Wish, you don't have to raise your hand.
If I may. Well, I didn't want to interrupt you twice. I felt that would be rather rude, especially considering current position.
She like flips her ponytail back. Just.
I do have it seems rather curious that a hotel of all things would need Mechwarrior support enough to enlist the aid of mercenaries. It's very odd.
And that's when former Sergeant Crimson, now codename 9 Lives, steps forward. Your intelligence officer. Her uniform now has like a little cat symbol, like a smiling cat emoji with the weird W patch on her right shoulder. It looks like she's tried to remove it a couple times with a knife, but someone keeps sewing it back on.
I am so sorry for that.
Well, about that, Commonwealth Grand Hotel Interstellar has over 500 hotels throughout the Lyran Commonwealth. There are 3 on this planet. And when we're talking hotels, we're talking thousands of guests at each one of them. We'll be staying at their main command complex. Their forces have been raided several times, and while the 15th Lyran regulars are on planet with a full Battlemech regiment, over 100 machines, they've been unable to stop a company of bandits from repeatedly landing, raiding the hotels, taking many valuable goods, and then getting off planet again. So, on the face of it, we'll be training these security forces. Mostly rifles, rockets, grenades, and anti-mech tactics.
Understood.
Great. More bandits to be pissed at me. That sounds lovely.
Well, if you'd stop slaughtering their entire families, perhaps they wouldn't hate you.
All right,
so much.
we're all going to do the same thing.
So,
all right?
Valkyrie, a.k.a. Lieutenant Loft, slams her clipboard down and says, all right, on top of that, apparently we have a secondary mission. The request for Deathwish, Heavy 7, Gold Stag, Bandito, 9 Lives have all been asked for by the CEO of the local branch. So, the 5 of you will be attending a special briefing when we arrive on planet.
It's by name?
By name, yes. Apparently, someone in Lyran Intelligence has been speaking highly of you to them, and you've come recommended. I have no idea why. I've never seen any intelligence out of your lands.
I take great offense in that, but whatever.
Noted.
I'm at least 2 times smarter than old Goldstag over there.
He's a
Good
doctor.
sir, I'm a doctor. How
If I
dare
remember
you.
correctly, and I was unconscious of this, he didn't do too well keeping me from dying.
You are
Sure.
still alive.
You're still walking, exactly.
Gentlemen, perhaps you could continue a private conversation about who is more intellectually superior after the briefing.
Do we have
Good
any
thing, boss.
questions? Very well.
Any
you're
idea on
dismissed.
what sort of forces
Oh my
these bandits consist of at the moment?
So the lieutenant sighs and shrugs and turns to Nine Lives, and she steps forward and says, "It looks like we've got a company of deserters from the Greater Valkyrit pirates. Apparently, several pirate groups are breaking off from the Valkyrit and taking a lance or two with them. It seems they've managed to form their own company and are jumping in, landing, stealing things, and jumping out again. It's been fairly well executed, actually, considering that there's hundreds of mechs facing them on the ground.
Interesting. Thank you, Lieutenant. Most helpful.
I'm a sergeant, sir."
Oh, sorry, I forgot which one was actually speaking. Thank you, Sergeant. Most helpful.
Everybody in the briefing room right now is just like, this is the least professional briefing I've ever seen. You can see all of their faces.
sergeants would allow themselves to be called a lieutenant.
No, out of character, I honestly misunderstood which one was
Yep,
speaking.
they switched off because they didn't know the answer. So, the actual lieutenant says, "If there are no further questions, we have 5 minutes until jump. Yes, Heavy 7.
He only raises his hand because he knows that she already said you don't have to raise your hand. Will the hotel be providing billeting for all the troops?
Indeed. You'll actually be provided with guest rooms. I understand you will be getting our own VIP section. A tower to ourselves, next to a functioning spaceport where we'll be putting down our ship. We'll only be a few hundred feet away from our mechs at any given moment."
That'll be all.
They have cable. Is there
But do
anything
they
else,
have-
Staff Sergeant McGurk?
But do they have digital recording?
I never know how far to take these meetings.
It's
Nope.
3048, Sergeant Gray. They
That's it.
definitely have digital recording.
I'm just making. Sometimes you have to pay extra for that. All right.
This is a luxury hotel.
All right.
A
All right,
million
that's fair.
inappropriate comments go through Sergeant McGurk's head, but he just goes,
All
"Nope."
right. No, the lieutenant's
Nope.
looking at you, and she knows what's happening. And she's just like, I dare you. I dare you. That's what's on her face.
He's like, carry on.
I just kind of like glance over at the sergeant and just kind of do this tiny little head shake, like, no,
Yeah.
don't.
Well, then we have slightly less than 4 minutes until jump. I suggest you all find your stations and strap in. As you know, senior officers and Mechwarriors will remain on the bridge during the jump in case anything happens. Dismissed.
Okay.
So we cut forward in time to watching the dropship connect to the jump ship, which is called the Kaleidoscope. The jump ship then begins entering into a jump. We see like this weird field begin forming around it and getting larger and larger, and then the ship disappears, and after 108 seconds appears in a new system of Hood 4. And the counter on the clock, it goes from May 8th to May 15th as the ship across the system incredibly fast and starts landing procedures. All of you get a update in your wallets at that time. You earn the following amounts of money over your past 6 months of performance. So
I get money back as opposed to spending it. What kind of
Okay, I wanna-
craziness is this?
I want to time it. So like I know there's a countdown for the jump and all that stuff, right? And I know how long the jump is going to be and everything.
Oh boy. Okay.
I want to time it to where I'm inspecting troops when we come out of light speed, and I'm making a huge.
So it's not
deal.
light speed.
Okay,
It's
all right.
actually complete. So think of
It's
it
like a
like a
motionless
wormhole where you
movement.
don't move. You literally just go from one location to the other, and some indeterminate but small amount of time passes in between
Okay.
there.
Okay.
You're required to be on the
Okay.
bridge though during all jumps. In case
Oh,
anything
never
happens.
mind then. So
Yep.
so it's instantaneous.
Yes.
Is what for us.
I mean, yeah. For you guys, it looks instantaneous. Yes.
Okay. All right. Never mind then.
It's
If I have to
definitely
be on
not
the
though.
bridge, never mind.
All right. So
I just vomit wildly whenever we come out of
do you have jump sickness? Is that on your sheet?
the TDS. I think that's like the.
Oh my
temporary-
gosh! Yeah, you look terrible on the far side of this.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Sarge, you all right?
You've
And
literally
I
been.
know what's gonna happen, and he's just standing on the bridge, cross-armed, and he does nothing except for open his mouth and just projectile vomit, exactly like he's standing. He's pale and sweaty, and they come out of their top or whatever. And he's like,
I feel like they have a human ready to do this for you because it's been a lot of jumps, and you've been doing this weekly, once a week for 4 months. So they probably have someone with like a big trash barrel that's floating by in zero G to grab it.
I have a private assigned to the duty because he won't even lean over a trash can. Like he just stands there, and it happens to his body. He shows no weakness during the.
This is what we spend our time doing, not drama and high politics, but vomit physics in space.
Oh yeah.
At a
Um,
certain
There's,
point,
there's,
Bandito would
there's
just
no artificial
open-
gravity on these things, so it just
No, there's not.
floats.
so at the time
the
it
same
happens,
private handed him a beer afterwards.
I was say no. It's like Bandito just instinctively hands him a beer after.
So-
After the first
And I'm
couple
just
times,
giving
like, there you
him
go.
some tablets to stop the vomiting.
your executive officer is also the pilot for the dropship. She looks disgusted at you, and all of the naval ratings that are running the ship also look equally disgusted at you. Like, not that you throw up everywhere, but that you're constantly so unprofessional on a bridge.
I always make sure I stand in a place where she has to see it happen, if possible.
So the Marine sergeant just like grabs you by the shoulder and is like, "Staff Sergeant McGurk, I told you, we don't want that stuff on the bridge. If any of your vomit gets in any of the delicate bridge machinery here, the dropship could be damaged."
Does this person outrank me?
No, they're from a different, so the dropship command and the mercenary command are different command structures. So he's just like screaming in your face like a Marine drill sergeant, just like,
Yeah.
"Damn it, McGurk, you fucked up again."
Oh, if he's screaming in my face, I mean, there's a good chance I'd just vomit on him on purpose.
No, you're not going to be vomiting anytime.
All right, I feel like you try to vomit, and then Goldstag's like injecting you with something.
I just
forcing
fake him
gills
out,
down
right?
your
Like he's
mouth.
standing talking to me, and I go, "Huh?" just to get him to like duck. I'm like, feel free to dismiss me from the bridge anytime you want, there, Sergeant. I say Sergeant very obviously, like
All right, Lieutenant
just say-
Kristoloff is just like, "You're dismissed, Staff Sergeant
he's
McGurk."
gone. It would like with just the weakest attempt at suppressing his smile, he departs immediately.
In the background of whatever conversation you're all about to have, you can hear Kristoloff on the communicator with the captain, and she's just like, "Are you sure we can't just get an entire new lance of Mechwarriors? Goldstag's the only one who owns his mech." So, Deathwish, you get 25,470 sea bills.
Oh,
Bandito, you get 15,000
crap.
sea bills.
Right, because I don't have double duty. I get paid the least.
That's true. Heavy 7, you get 18,750. And Goldstag, you get 16,200. And
I'd
that's
love
your
to.
6 months of pay.
I'd love to have double duty, but I don't. It's like fast. I don't know what I can do.
Yeah, maybe if you did something other than put all of your skill points into shooting, you might be
Oh,
capable
yeah.
of performing some other action beyond shooting.
I mean,
See, but he's our killer. We support him. We get him to the
I
target.
told you
he
he's the
takes
main
target
character.
out.
Yeah. He's our Kirito. So, is there anything you guys want to do before you land besides throwing up all over the bridge?
No.
Yeah, I want to talk to the intel officer.
All right.
I was gonna
9
say,
lives.
I'll be expecting everyone in their mechs powered up, ready to depart as soon as the dropship lands.
All right. Yeah, you catch Sergeant Crimson, aka 9 lives, in her very small. It's like a closet. The intelligence officer spot on the Union class dropship. It's not good. And things are floating everywhere in the like half gravity as they're preparing to land. And she's just like, "Oh, Bandito." She gives you a death stare.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I know it was you.
What was me?
She
What?
just keeps staring at you.
You're confusing me, darling. Could you specify?
Is there something you need, Sergeant Gray?
Yeah, I was going to ask you for a favor. And in return, I could help you out with some stuff.
Oh,
But-
really? Well, maybe you should have chosen a better call sign.
I didn't know it wasn't me.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry about that. No, it was not me. You can blame Lieutenant for that one.
She continues to stare at you, waiting
All right.
for you to say anything.
Okay. I need you to get some information on a man
Okay.
and kind of his whereabouts if possible.
Is it a specific man that you need or just any man?
Specific man.
Okay.
I feel like in the background, those Russian guys are like,
It's like the Russian guys go walking by
Eh?
the open door,
They're there for every
and then you hear
inopportune
them go walking down the hall. I told you, yes, I know.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah, Pavel Radzik's boys go floating past you.
I hope they get killed at some point.
Wow,
They're
she
starting
slaps
to
you in the
piss me
face
off.
when you say that. She's
Ow,
like,
all right. I
they're
deserve
crows
that.
too, Sergeant.
I deserve that.
Yeah, you do deserve
Now, let me get back to I need you to look for a man named, I forget his first name, Cross.
that. You mean Kenneth Cross.
That guy.
So she takes her screen, and you can see that all sorts of like local planetary ads that show up when a dropship's about to land are there. And as she goes through them, you notice in the upper right-hand corner there's an advertisement for a lecture by Kenneth Cross that's going to be happening in 2 weeks when he arrives on planet. As he's now like he's a former bounty hunter who's now a celebrity Mechwarrior spokesperson. He's like, you too can become a Mechwarrior or a tank pilot or a mercenary. I'll teach you what you need to know to become the basics of a paramilitary organization.
Right. Oh, God.
Oh, so this is like the mechware version of those guys that like teach you how to pick up women.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Confidence is
Thank
key
you,
when you're
darling.
piloting a
Hey,
mech.
If you need
Who's
help,
that guy that wears the giant pile of medals and is a sheriff? From like the you know who I'm talking about.
I know
right?
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you know what I'm talking about. He's like that guy. He overhypes his past, but yeah, as you know, he was a bounty hunter.
He was
at
like the
one point.
Ron Swanson pyramid of success.
Yeah, exactly.
all right. 2 weeks. It's great. I wonder if he'll be looking for me or I'm the one looking for him. We'll find out. Thank you, darling. If you need help with any of the whole stuff that the Sarge puts you on, I'll try to help you out.
Yeah,
Are you still she's still
yeah,
squinting at
she's
me?
squinting at you.
Why are you squinting at me?
Why do you want to know more about this man?
That guy? He's an asshole that killed my family.
Oh, I thought that might be your type.
Those guys are walking back the other way.
There's been talk.
Yeah, I know. It's because of those drunkards over there.
Okay. Killed your family, huh?
Yes.
Well, that kind of thing happens.
Yes.
Are you gonna kill him?
I don't. It depends if I have to. Right now, I can't.
Yeah.
He's not
So
here.
she's like, I'm gonna make sure to send the Lyran Commonwealth, the Federated Commonwealth Code of Conduct and Laws, just so that you don't do anything on planet.
I'm not going to do anything.
It's already been
You know
attached.
what? Go ahead and send that to
Yep.
me. Yeah, all right.
You get the little bing and you got an email.
I can't even finish that. All right.
Don't worry, I'm sending it to everybody now that I think about it.
That's a brilliant idea, especially to Sarge.
He's already had a private set up his email to where everything that certain people send him go into like a folder. That thing goes into the trash.
Actually, you know what? Print it out for him and then give it
Those
to him.
inbox rules. Every emails from
What
this
do you
person
mean,
goes to.
Sarge? Don't you mean to
Real
go-
private. These are the people I don't ever want to hear from.
I didn't know that was a thing you could do, but now I want to do it.
He's the doctor without a hypocrite.
Oh, you could totally do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right. Better yet, print it out for the Sarge and then hand it to him personally, because otherwise it's not going to get to him.
That sounds like too much work. I'll leave it to you. You can be responsible for your
no.
sergeant.
That's my girl.
No. You see,
You hear
I'm
a
already
rolling noise as she begins closing the sliding door in your face? I'll see you later,
All right.
Bandito. Click. You can still
totally-
hear her on the other side because it's a drop ship, so everything it's like just vibrating.
uh-huh. It's like Witcher yourselves like, I totally voted for that name.
You know I can hear that, right? You're literally within 2 feet of my
You
face.
should. I said it loud enough.
I whispered it, but all right. Maybe I should figure out a volume level. That'd probably work. See you later.
Does anybody else have anything they want to do before you land?
I'll just be in my shiny new Griffin running checks on it.
It's not shiny, nor is it new. It's
It's
about
new
100,
to me.
150 years old.
It's new to me.
It's covered in replacement parts. In fact, nothing from it is original. It's
All
far,
the more
far too
reason to
ancient.
go over it with a fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
So to give me some context, when I say I get the troops together, how big is the infantry?
28. You have a platoon.
28. Okay, we have a platoon. All right.
And you're
Yeah.
actually not the platoon leader, right? You're just the highest ranking sergeant. You're
I'm
the,
like first sergeant.
yeah, you're like the regimental sergeant major of a company.
Okay. So yeah,
They
I
have
call
their
them-
own command structure, which you are not
Sure,
a part
sure.
of.
I call them together and get them all formed up and stuff. And it's just it's not an exciting scene. It's just a very general, like, I give them a safety briefing for how to conduct themselves while on planet. I let them know that there'll be a health and welfare inspection. So they're all required to wash their asses on their first day of leave. And they will report back after their first day of leave to receive confirmation that they have washed their asses. And just like real basic, like housekeeping stuff, like, you know, Sarge does his due diligence of being like the face of the upper enlisted. And also the other thing I want to do is make sure that before we have left the previous planet, Sarge gets whatever Crimson's preferred, like cigars or whatever it is she smokes. She has a box of that on her desk.
All right. See, that's going
which
to be
is just
really
like-
hard because you guys haven't landed on any planets in 4 months.
No, I mean like the one we came from,
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
like before we left.
Yeah,
Them.
sure.
that's
Flashback
like-
scene.
Yeah, that's just part of the deal they have, right? Like he helps her with her professional development. She takes some tasks off his plate, and he makes sure that she gets some of the perks that she wants to have. So like, there's like a tutelage relationship there.
So before you can leave the infantry bay and all the infantry, we've seen this character in the background, but we haven't actually introduced him yet. He looks kind of like Val Kilmer from Top Gun. He's wearing giant black aviators. He's got his hair back.
Iceman, yes.
Instead of
Iceman.
being highlighted blonde, it's highlighted blue. And you know that when he takes off his aviators, as he does to walk over and talk to you, he's wearing violet eye contacts.
Okay.
And he's just like chewing on bubble gum as he comes to speak to you and says, Staff Sergeant, And this is Second Lieutenant Rex Muehlner. He's the
Rex.
commander of the infantry.
Okay. LT.
Good work out there.
He's kind of does this little turn like, I'm gonna walk off now. Thanks, sir. Right
You're
back
dismissed,
at you.
Sergeant.
Okay.
Just incredibly awkward.
Super awkward. Absolutely awkward.
Oh, one last thing. Can I have a private place a whoopee cushion lieutenant's mech?
Probably not, because in order to get inside, you'd have to have a security code. Do you
All right,
want
I'll
to try
just
to break it in the mech?
What would I have to do that?
I mean, probably an electronics role of some kind.
Never
Do I want to commit a very serious crime in order to
mind.
do a prank?
I figure the cockpit would be still up, but
Security systems. That's what you would need to sneak into the mech bay and then sneak into the mech, leave it there, and then have no one else notice.
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay. All right. You walk into the mech bay with a whoopee cushion, and then you look at the mech and you just walk away.
Next time.
Hey, AP, here's a quick question.
Yep.
What's my rank? After
Your
all,
rank is still
Two.
pilot.
Private was my last one.
Yep. Yeah. You were trainee. Your rank is increased, but your pay hasn't yet.
Yeah, my rank is 2 at the moment.
It doesn't. Oh, your character's rank,
Yeah.
the rank you bought, doesn't matter anymore. Your actual rank is now pilot.
Yeah, that was just starting.
That was just starting.
All right.
Yes.
Get
You
the
guys.
text to do it.
You all land at pre-dawn, and the dropship's coming down on columns of fire as it lands outside of this giant hotel complex. Think 4,000 or 5,000 people could stay here very comfortably. There's lots of beach villas. Each of you is going to get your own cabana villa combination type deal. Because you're Mechwarriors, so you're either non-commissioned officers or very useful people. Everybody else is going to be staying in the hotel proper, on the top floors of the tower. And as your dropship lands, a group of mechs come out of the city in slow motion, and 2 APCs come in behind them, and 2 enormous helicopters with spotlights come in, and they're spotlighting a specific mech, and all of the mechs move forward in parade formation. People begin spilling out of the APCs wearing Lyran Commonwealth or Federated Commonwealth uniforms, and all of the mechs are blazing the Federated Commonwealth's military theme. So as your dropship lands, you're treated to a parade. But then it gets really serious, because after that theme stops playing, the personal theme of the 15th Lyran Regulars begins playing, and someone descends from one of the mechs, the center of the 5 mechs, a Zeus, and it's a general has showed up and is carrying a sword and just stands at the edge of your spaceship bay area and is waiting for someone to come speak to her, with an entire platoon of infantry behind her, 4 mechs, spotlights everywhere, music playing. You're basically being treated to a sonic assault of the Lyrans. It's pretty weird. You've literally never had this happen before, and several of you have been members of the Lyran military.
I mean, obviously, Bandito goes up first.
I mean, you're all in
So-
your mechs. Are you
Okay.
coming out in your mechs, or are you coming out on foot?
I come
Send
out on
Bandito.
foot.
I mean,
If this person is standing there on foot,
Yep.
then,
I'm gonna walk out on-
Yeah,
I'll exit my
Yeah.
mech.
Also,
Yeah,
Sergeant is dressed in an actual uniform today, just for the
That's
record.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It's
wearing
I'll
my,
keep on, I won't bother changing back into the uniform. I'll go out there with cooling vest,
the
shorts,
casual,
and neuro
the
helmet,
casual
underarm.
wear is for when we're battling, not
I'm curious as to what casual wear you all wear. I'm sure we'll find out in the next couple of minutes. here.
Fatigues.
Casual wear.
Shirts, suspenders, and trousers.
It's like I
as
have a
little
feeling
as possible.
the Sarge's casual wear is no different from his formal wear. Just
So-
a Hawaiian
puts-
shirt.
He just puts socks under his sandals.
Yeah, I think we've like both
Like Argyle
described what
socks.
both the sergeants described what they would wear as they went in their mechs.
So I'm imagining a chain link fence, and on one side is a professional military organization, on the other is the four of you, as people are like piling off the dropship, like cracking their necks, and they're just like, "Oh, thank God, fresh air, first time in 4 months." Like super unprofessional. People are just like, "I can't wait to get on the beach." Woo!
No,
Just
I would
look at
say
them, shake
Sarge
my
definitely
head.
doesn't let that happen. Like there's a
No.
time and a place, and now is not the time or the place.
All right, as you're trying to gather up the troops, the remaining three of you are facing off with Lieutenant General Lisa Orsini of the 15th Lyran Regulars. She's standing in a blue Mechwarrior jumpsuit with the Lyran. She still wears the old style Lyran stuff rather than the new Federated Commonwealth now that the two nations are supposed to be one. And she just says, "I am the Supreme Commander of all military forces on this planet. I am Lieutenant General Lisa Orsini, and I welcome you, members of Crow's Black. Obey all laws. Leave all planetary defense to us. You might be here at the behest of certain nobles and corporate councils, but you are not welcome."
Bandito just salutes.
Yeah, I'll come to attention and I'll snap off a Lyran military salute.
All right.
I'll snap off a Draconic Combine salute.
Oh my God.
I don't know the Lyran salute, so you can't blame me.
Her eyes briefly flick towards Goldstag, and then she moves back towards her mech and like grabs the rope ladder that pulls her back up. Her sword hanging from her belt. It's just super, super bizarre.
What kind of sword does she have?
She has like a two-handed, like a Zweihander.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably about 3.5 feet long.
Go.
It should be noted this woman's like in her late 50s, but still looks like she could probably beat up most of the Lance here. Maybe not McGurk, because he actually, I mean, she could definitely be Herited for sure, easily.
Is she
A
played by
stiff breeze could beat her.
Is she
Let's
played
be
by
honest.
a like old Brienne of Tarth?
I feel like she might be played by Judi Dench.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, like a
Gotcha.
slightly more German Judi Dench.
I got you.
And that
So yeah,
ends
if
the
she left,
planet-
then I'll just go back to my mech. And
Yeah, that ends
like,
the
all right.
intimidation factor for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, Goldstack, I don't think you want to be using that salute around here. I'm
sort of
just-
like the last planet where I had to bite my tongue and not have to not speak too much about my Lyran Alliance background.
So
Same
just-
here
just-
with the
Duly noted.
Just follow the lead of one of us. I guarantee it might not be a good idea, but it's better than what
follow
you just did.
my lead.
I
Don't.
still think that's a bad idea. No
Dude,
offense,
what,
sir, but
The
we're all
Lyrans,
fairly incompetent.
the Commonwealth is who both me and the lieutenant fought with during our
Yes.
our
Yep.
tour of duty, right? Okay.
I
Back
mean, I
then it
was Lyran Commonwealth.
Yeah, back then it was
So-
the Lyran Commonwealth. Now it's the
Our-
Federated Commonwealth.
Sarge is from the Commonwealth too, if
Yep.
I remember correctly. What's their theme? Like, so she has like a, because Sarge has a sword too, but I've never really decided what kind of sword it was. So is
Their
there
theme
something
is
like
heavily Germanic.
Germanic? Okay, all
Yep.
right.
They also do a little bit of like British Isles, Ireland. They have a whole subculture called the Isle of Skye, which is super, super Irish and Scottish.
Okay.
So
Super.
you guys are all on planet for the first time in like 4.5 months. All of your messages have been routed forward, so if you want to go check with the local Comstar office, you'll have 4 months of back mail. Also, you have a briefing that you need to attend at some point with the local operations officer, but that's at your leisure. And
As
you
soon
you
as
have
possible, I
vacation time,
feel.
right? Like you literally are on Planet. Your job doesn't start for a couple days. What do you do? What?
Well, our job in general doesn't start for a couple of days, but we still have a lot of preparation to do. We still have to get all the troops
Mhm.
settled. We still have to pull
None of
up
that's your
topographical maps of the
responsibility.
terrain around the area.
No,
It's not.
absolutely none
No,
of
but I
that's your
still have to.
responsibility.
Yes, but I still have to familiarize myself with all the material.
All right, yeah. I
I'm the
mean, that's a
lieutenant.
thing
I'm
we can
expected to
certainly
know this stuff. So
easily do off camera, though, for sure.
yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
I just established that the platoon sergeant will check in with me when everything is good. Like it's his responsibility. I'm not going to micromanage him. So just like as he does his thing, sergeant has already given his guidance, so the platoon sergeant will do whatever. I mean, the lieutenant can just fuck off. I don't know what he's doing or what he thinks he's doing, but the platoon sergeant knows what's expected. So he's expected to just make sure troops are given their leave as appropriate, but they're to conduct themselves in a professional manner whenever within public view or in uniform.
I'll just do the lieutenant-y montage paper signing.
All right, I would like you to make a career soldier roll. I want to see how good you are at sergeanting to see if you can get these troops to obey you.
Okay, so just wait 5 minutes for me to open up everything I need. My career soldier is a +4.
Okay, you needed a 8 on this roll just to get minimum level of success.
And I don't have a mouse today, so oh, no.
I'll roll for you if you want.
Yeah, that would be best,
All right.
actually. Would be great.
Here we go. Got a 7. With that, you get an 11. Every 2 extra, you get a degree of success. So you got 8, 10. You got 1 degree of success over what you needed. So the troops obey, and they do it, they're not grumbling the whole time. I mean, of course, they're soldiers, and they're mercenaries, so they're used to a similar amount of casualness. So it's not like there's no grumbling, but you don't directly hear any of it to your face. And
Sure.
it's nothing you wouldn't expect.
No, yeah.
Yeah. They, unload all their stuff, get it all to their rooms, and generally are about in uniform or at the very least identifiable fatigues when they go out on the town. And you don't get any phone calls over the next couple days that are like, "Hey, Staff Sergeant, I'm in jail. Can you come get me?"
Okay, so after 2 days, they're afforded additional privileges. Like they can go out not in uniform, but they're still expected to not get arrested and shit.
All right, good. They won't. As things stand right now, your men will not get arrested.
Cool.
Probably. I'd be way more worried about you guys.
After that, Sarge is totally poolside. Just letting it all hang out.
Seems legit. I think Bandito's just going to check his messages and help out 9 Lives with the administrative work that
Okay.
Sarge doesn't want to do.
You do have several messages. One is from an attorney back on your home planet that's indicated that your court case against Agrico Multiplanet has once again failed to appeal, and that you're not going to get your family's land back. Like he's like, this is the final appeal. There's nothing we can do.
Wonderful.
You also got another you personally got an email from the Kenneth Cross bounty hunting CrossFit organization that said that, oh, you've expressed previous interest in other programs. Did you know we're going to be in your local area, Hood 4, over the next 2 weeks? If you'd like to attend a lecture.
Would you like to know more?
It's very tempting. I'll save that one as the start, important thing.
All right, yeah, you
For save later.
Flag it.
So you
Flag it.
surprisingly don't have a lot of mail. I mean, you've only got 3 or 4 messages over 4 months.
Seems about right.
When you go to help Sergeant Crimson with her work, she stops you on the second day and is like, "Hey, look at this. And she pulls up a file for you and says, I was updating our dropship's communication protocol, and it looks like someone hid a file here. The patch just showed us that there was a vulnerability exploit. I've been working backtracing it, and someone left a file for our mech lance. Apparently, it's pretty heavily encrypted. It'll only open if the 4 of you are in the hollow room on the bridge alone. I guess I could try to crack it or something. It seems pretty odd. I'm gonna have to report this, by the way. So she like turns and starts.
Right.
You can see she's running a vast scan on it real quick.
Let's get the others. And let's go see about this real quick.
All right. You call up the rest of your. You call up the rest of your squad. Goldstack, what are you doing when you get called?
Well, first I was going to go check the messages, see if I had any.
You do.
See-
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. See what the guy who stole the mech off was replied to my certain picture.
Now,
No,
Gold Stack, did you?
You didn't get a reply back to your unprofessional ass print.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now,
buddy.
Gold Stack, did you remember to put the whoopee cushion on the lieutenant's desk, on this chair?
You never asked me to do that.
Can you do that for me?
I'll
figured-
try.
All right.
But if push comes to shove, I'm blaming you.
I mean, he'll probably blame me to begin with.
Fair enough. Yeah. Got to put a whoopee cushion on his on Mechwarriors and Lieutenant Harridan's chairs.
All right. I feel like we cut sideways to Lieutenant Harridan sitting down on a whoopee cushion. It's just like, and that's when you get a notice asking you to come to the like command room.
Very well. Children.
What have you been doing over the last 2 days, Deathwish? What do you do on planet?
Oh, all business all the time.
All business all the time. You're literally just absorbing all of the tactical maps and all the
Mhm.
overlays. All
Yep,
right.
checking in reports on what was stolen by the bandits, what sort of equipment
really?
they've been seen so far, everything like that. As much data we can have on
Great. Can
have
you
on
make
them
an
as
investigation
possible.
roll?
Oh God, I don't think I can make an investigation roll.
I mean, don't worry. You definitely can do it. You'll just be terrible at it.
Let's see. I have like a -2.
That's
Uh,
interrogation. Unless
Investigation is separate
investigation is
than
intelligence
interrogation.
and will.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a -2 link modifier.
I can help you with
great.
that.
Let's see here. Well, you rolled a 4.
Ooh. So technically, I rolled a 2. So
That's
garbage.
super, super bad. And in fact, you might take a penalty for you doing something that you're not trained in. But either way, you rolled so fucking horrible that I don't think it's going to make a difference. Like, you are attempting to investigate with just publicly available information as to what's been going on this planet, and you're just like, why do they keep... You've got like a huge board in your room with like hotel, bandits, Greater Valkyrit, mechs, and you're just like, I don't know. What's wrong? What's wrong with it all? Like, I feel like when we check in your office, there's a bottle of bourbon on the desk with like a glass with some ice in it.
Can I try to assist him on that? Because
I mean, I feel like if I started having a hard time wrapping my head around it, I would have pulled in our intelligence officer.
I mean, she's doing
to try and make sense of all this garbage.
She's doing a different but similar job.
I mean, then I would have been
So,
pumping her for information as opposed to
feeding you all the publicly available information, right? Like, she's probably is helping you with this.
And then I'll be like asking her, could you please make sense of all this? This is completely backwards. I mean, They stole lawn furniture on this trip for some reason. I don't understand.
Well, I think the long furniture is actually worth quite a bit. As you can see here, it was part of a limited edition collection piece. They're all signed as well.
Sarge, if you could just wrap all this up into a report and try and figure out what it is they're doing. I obviously cannot make heads or tails of this.
I'd love to help you on that, Lieutenant, but unfortunately, we've got a bit of a security breach on board. It looks like someone left something in our computers.
Oh, really?
Lieutenant's getting like a whole bunch of messages saying me in the bridge.
Yeah, just like over and over again in the
Just
background.
bam.
Bing, bing,
It's like copy and pasting,
bing.
and then he eventually calls him. Lieutenant,
It's like my
answer.
pad keeps on
Answer.
buzzing. Like
Answer. Lieutenant, answer the phone.
Goldstag, are you doing a separate investigation on your own? Because I mean, even if you helped here, the roll was so bad that it's
Wouldn't
really
matter.
bad. Like,
I could try to do a separate investigation.
Okay.
My other idea of what I was going to be doing is freaking helping everyone who's got freaking travel sickness from the jumps.
I mean, it's bad. It's real bad. It's not necessarily travel sickness, but people have got like deteriorated bones and all that.
God.
Lack of gravity has been a very serious factor on your travel.
Yeah, and I'm probably one of the only few people experienced in it.
You are
From my
literally
history.
the only medical professional on board your ship.
Doesn't the other ship have medical professionals?
You mean the jump ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys are only on those jump ships for like 4 or 5 minutes at a time. So what happens is your ship attaches to them, they jump, and then you detach. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, that's actually a pretty good idea. Why don't you go ahead and make just like a medicine roll in general, like a career surgeon roll, if you got something like that.
Career doctor is
Yeah.
a 5.
Yeah, go ahead and make a career doctor roll. And we'll see how healthy the general troop status is. You're going to take a penalty on this of -2 because you're extremely overworked. With a 9, you have a 14. That ends up being a 12. Yeah, you do a pretty good job, right? Like, you're definitely overworked. These guys should probably be in way worse condition than they are, but you've been going around and giving everybody vitamins and making sure that they work out on the treadmill the correct amount of time, keeping all of their like nutrient calorie calendars, constantly emailing people.
Yeah, constantly hijacking the audio system to freaking split out announcements.
Every 6 hours, like, boom, boom, boom. This is your medical officer. Eat your oranges.
Yeah, stuff like that.
All right, Heavy 7, on your first day of beach duty, as you're in your cabana, you get a bing on your comm link indicating that you have a new message.
All right, I'll listen to it. I guess.
Bandito, what does it say?
Hey, Sarge, I need you to come up to the bridge. Apparently, there's been like a security breach, and there's a message that specifically says for the 4 of us to be at the bridge alone to read it.
I feel like is it an audio thing or is it
It's
a
an
message?
audio. Yeah.
Okay. As soon as I hear Bandito say, "Hey Sarge," just turn it off. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, I'll go deal with that. You definitely you get a montage of like all the stuff Sarge is doing. He's like, you see him like in the sauna and like his robe. He's like out playing volleyball on the beach with like a bunch of girls. Then he's like at the bar and he's like at the pool and then he's like at a dance club, like getting down.
I feel like we're gonna have to hear more of this about Sarge's adventures and being casual.
He's the opposite of whatever the lieutenant is doing, like working hard in his office. Sarge is fucking-
working hard and accomplishing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You get to see like
Bandito just sitting in the bridge, just messaging. He's like, "Where the hell are these guys? I don't message them often."
Meanwhile, Sarge is literally playing playing volleyball with him on one side and 4 women on the other.
he's at like an illegal poker game. He's like doing all kinds of stuff.
So after an hour of waiting, Bandito, it sounds like all 3 of your lance mates show up. around the same time. You're in the command briefing room beneath the bridge where there's a holo transmitter, and when the four of you enter, the holo emitter charges up and just has like a message waiting button. Normally
Well,
this would
that's
be
not
accompanied by a
disconcerting,
Comstar logo, but this time it's just like the Lyran Alliance's fist. I'm sorry, the Lyran Commonwealth's fist. And it just says open ?
So
Is
how
it
much do you want to
is-
bet if we press open, it's just going to crash our entire ship?
Well, we're already landed, so
Someone
that's
did
obvious.
search this area for explosives,
martini
correct?
glass and just pushes open. Like it's not enough time.
The lieutenant is looking around for explosives.
Hey, Bantu is like, that's a good idea. I'll look around. Say, oh, never mind.
Grillmaster 76 walks up and it's open. You hear the voice of your last employer, Percival Bronstein.
Who we know is like a crook, right? He
Yeah.
was- okay.
Yeah. It's audio only, and he's got a different accent than what he had. It's not like so outrageously Borat-like, not super Eastern European. It's just like, hello, my friends. I hope I can call you my friends. It's rare to be able to speak so frankly like this. I'd prefer, of course, if you didn't tell anybody about our conversation here, or I'd be forced to kill you. I wanted to thank you all for your hard work on our behalf. It's difficult for Loki to carry out operations outside the Commonwealth. You've helped ensure Lyran dominance in what's now being called the Rim Collection for decades to come. Pro-Lyran anti-mercenary sentiment on Sluis and throughout the Rim Collection has never been higher, and we're managing to supply both sides of the war. I guess I'm what you could call a sleeper agent. 15 years ago, I didn't know I'd be living a life as a humble merchant association president. When I joined Loki, I thought I'd be more guns and terrorism. They trained me to place bombs on ships and stuff like that.
Just like,
Look how
take a
Bandito's
step
just
or
like,
two back.
"Woo!"
Just looking around like, is this rim going
I
to
just take out a
explode?
notepad, like, look for bombs.
Well, unsurprisingly, this message will delete itself at the end. I wanted to let you know that your current job, should you have accepted it, has been at my behest. I've been doing what I can to have the Lyran intelligence community, the Secretariat, push hard for you, and hopefully you can get a good job as a result. Well, good luck, and work hard. And then the message is just like, deleting.
That guy's an asshole. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to look for bombs.
You searched. There are no bombs in the command room here.
I mean, the entire ship, not just
All
the
right.
command.
Why don't you make an investigation roll?
Anybody want to help?
I mean, I have no skill in investigation,
All right, here we
so
go.
I would
I have a one
I
in
would
investigation.
I would
I'll
recommend
happily help.
pulling in some of the infantry, who are probably more experienced at this sort of thing. At least we could use them as duct crawlers.
Is Sergeant Crimson more experienced in this?
Nine
An
lives?
investigation? Yes. You want her to make the roll on your behalf?
Yes.
All
I
right.
can help her out. Yeah.
I mean,
With help?
she officially puts the ship on lockdown and begins looking for signs of bombs, and she doesn't find any. After several hours of searching, she calls it off, but passes responsibility for the alarm off onto the lieutenant. So
That's fine.
when the executive officer comes like screaming out of her room, wondering why she couldn't get on the ship, he's just like, First Lieutenant Harridan, can you explain to me why I can't get on my own goddamn ship?
Butch
I
McGurk
can-
is there, and he's
Lieutenant,
got his
Lieutenant, I
martini
can.
in one hand and like a long stick with like a crescent on the. It's like the sticks you use to push the shuffleboards. You know, he got one of those like over the other shoulder, and he's standing there with Lieutenant, and he gives him like the eye, like, yes, why can't I get off this ship? I'm once in my life, I 100% agree with this fucking lieutenant.
Goldstack's
This is absurd.
Now,
Goldstack's just
You have my apologies. We had reason to believe there may have been an explosive or incendiary device on board.
And what gave you this impression?
Well, we were just presented with a.
We were sent a message saying that a guy used to put bombs on ships.
It was a
And
Loki agent, ma'am.
Indeed.
I expect you'll prepare a full report for me.
Of course, you will have it on your desk in the morning.
No, you'll have it on my desk in less than an hour. Anybody who wants
As
to
you
get
say.
off this ship needs to do it now, because I'm putting the ship back on lockdown in a few minutes and doing a second search. The Crow's Nest is my ship.
Very well. I will be in my
Indeed.
office writing
like Butch is
reports if
just
you
like,
need anything further.
I go and join the second investigation.
The second investigation also turns up nothing.
Throws a goddamn fit.
Okay.
Goldstack, I wanted to cut back to your messages. So you go check in with your local Comstar office, and you have a bunch of messages from your family. The majority of them are all like, how's it going? Or here's my latest meatloaf recipe. Like, you have a large family, and they're all mercenaries, but they all live halfway across the inner sphere from you. So it takes forever for messages to get to you. But the latest one is from your mother, and is a video message that she's left you, and she's just like, "Oh, it's Goldhirsch. Oh, Sean, I'm so glad to see you again. Obviously, I can't see you because this is a video message that I've left for you, but I'm assuming you'll send me a reply. Your father and I and several of your cousins and your younger brother were accepting a job for the Draconis Combine. We're going to be heading out beyond the periphery in order to take out some bandits. There's the greater Valkyrate or something like that. Anyway, I'm not really big on the specifics, but I heard that you switched mechs, and yeah, you got a newer, more Draconis Combine-y one. It's a Panther. That's what I heard, just from the grapevine. I talked to your local technical officer, the Baron Dr. Mechwarriors. He seems like such a nice fellow. I don't understand why you guys don't get along with him. He says that he's got some problems with you. Apparently, one of the sergeants left him hanging on the side of a mech. Oh, you need to talk to your lance mates. Maybe just try to be nice to this man. We've had very, very detailed conversations. He paid a lot of money to get a live communication with me. Anyway, he's a very nice man. So your father and I and your cousins were going to be accepting a job as able-bodied merchantmen aboard a ship heading out to the periphery to hunt some bandits. I just wanted to let you know we'll be out of communication for a couple weeks. That's it.
All
They
right.
were never heard from again.
All right. Who was the one that had someone hanging out of the ship? Was it me? I feel like it was me.
It was McGurk who left the guy who was repairing the mech stuck on the side of the mech.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I send a video response there, just responding to all the questions, saying, fine, yeah, I'll get onto it.
Okay.
Try to, yeah, so on and so forth.
You send anything back to your mother?
No, I'm
Okay,
currently
all right.
drawing a
It's
blank.
50 C-bells to send back all those replies.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, your extended family all gets replies from you about the dumbest shit in the world, but they'll be thrilled to receive it. Anything else you guys wanted to do before you get to your briefing? Actually, I want to cut sideways to Butch McGurk and Butch out and around on town.
Oh yeah.
So
he's at the roller rink.
you mentioned briefly that you were at like a illegal poker game in like a back room of a bar.
Yeah.
I want to cut to that.
Okay.
Place that you've gone to is called the Ruby Wand. Like most spaceport bars, it's generally like kind of a red light district kind of thing. And so the Ruby Wand is supposed to be a euphemism, but nobody's really sure what for. Like, everyone has a different idea as to what it means, but the bartender won't tell anyone. He's a short little man from the Free Worlds League named Wilco. And everyone just calls him Roger, even though that doesn't appear to be his first name.
That's amazing.
He's definitely a drug dealer, for sure. Like when you come in, he's just like, so fresh off the dropship.
Something like that.
Need anything? Anything
Nope.
special? Oh, all right. Well, I can tell you that the braised bear here is very good, and there is definitely not an illegal poker game in the back.
Thank you, friend. He walks straight to the back.
All right. When you get in the back room, it's your general assortment of like petty criminals, right? People who are trying to seem like they're real bad to each other.
Mhm.
But on top of like guys who have mohawks and dudes who are wearing leather jackets, there is a very serious contender here. He's got one of those like big strap eye patches over his right eye. He's wearing a rapier as well. But more importantly, while carrying weapons in the Lyrian Commonwealth and the Federated Commonwealth isn't exactly illegal, you know, it's not like you can carry around a rifle. This guy has a rocket launcher on his back.
My God.
And when he sees you come in, his left eye turns to look at you. And then he calls and wins a huge hand and gestures for you to sit down at the table.
Yeah, I do. I sit down. And we look at each other and we're like, did we just become best friends?
He looks at you and says, so, what's your story?
Just in town on a job.
On the job, huh? Just passing
Well.
through then?
As far as I know.
All right then, Drifter.
Ooh. And what of you?
Me? Well, I'm something of a specialist. I guess you could call me Rapier.
Do I have to?
Why don't you ante up?
Okay. I ante up.
I want you to make an edge roll.
No,
See
no.
how lucky you are at this game.
Isn't that like isn't that like a 1?
That's
I'm
my
not
dump
requiring
stat,
you
yeah.
to spend edge to do this. I just want you to roll with your edge bonus.
Okay, let me look what that is.
Isn't that like -2 if it's
It's
like
minus
1?
2, yeah.
Wow, that's real bad. Good luck.
Can you roll for me?
Yeah, you're super bad at this apparently.
Yeah, I'm not a lucky
You're not
person.
a very lucky person.
No.
Although you did get an 8 on your roll, so you got exactly what you needed. You don't walk away the winner that night. Like you don't walk away with thousands of C-bills, but you walk
I don't
away
lose-
with more money than you came in with.
Okay, sure.
Rapier also didn't win. It went to some clown who, you know, is just like, I ran the numbers in my head, man. I had you all figured out.
I want to like.
Does he get shot for counting cards?
I want to wait in the back alley for when this guy leaves.
Counts cards.
All right.
I'm gonna murder someone in the street.
So it's dark outside, and it's a back spaceport bar off of Boulevard. So yeah, like when he goes outside, he's super drunk off of all of his winnings, and Rapier's there as well beside him. And he's just like, so how do you want to handle this?
50-50.
Oh, you were thinking of cutting him in half. I was just gonna give him a beatdown.
No, I mean we split it 50-50.
Okay. I want to be clear here. You're actually about to kill this dude?
No, we do the beatdown.
Okay. Do you have any skill in like combat fighting?
You want me to martial arts him?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
What
I think we
form
all
of
have
martial arts do you know?
He knows like I want him to know something really ridiculous, like
Kung fu.
capoeira or something.
Krav
Russian
Maga?
sambo.
No. No, he's definitely like a
Capoeira?
crowd. He starts
Oh,
breakdancing. Breakdance fight. Bow, 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 now. No, let's see. Where's that martial arts? Do I know my alphabet? Yes, I
Wing
do.
Chun?
Wing Chun.
He's like a Muay Thai fighter who like clinches people and like knees them and elbows them.
All right. I'm going to make a roll for you real quick, and then
Okay,
I'll tell you what
it's-
happens between you, Rapier, and the punk.
It's +4.
Wow, you're really good at that.
Yeah.
And that's good because your roll was shit. You rolled a 5.
Sergeant McGurk doesn't fuck around.
You got a 9. All right, so here's what happens. You go in to put some locks on this guy. right? And it involves Rapier just like runs beside you and then jumps on top of a dumpster and just comes around and like wraps his arm around this dude while he's running along a wall and just takes him down and slams him in the ground.
Do we do like a sweet like WWF like tag team move?
That's what the whole rest of the fight is, pure WWF. You're like kneeing and elbowing this guy. You've got him on the ground. Like this dude is like picking up trash cans and dumping them on his face.
Rapier like top ropes him with the elbow.
So Rapier pulls off a couple of kronar, local currency, and like throws it on the guy's chest as they're leaving. And waves down a taxi to like take this guy to the local medical center.
Yeah.
And the taxi cab guy is just like, I didn't see anything. Yes.
We give him some money too, the taxi cab driver. Like, just go.
So Rapier is just eyeing your sword. Have we figured out what kind of sword it is yet?
So what if I change my mind and say it's an axe instead?
All right, yeah, he's eyeing your axe. He's just like, it's not many guys like you know. Close combat specialist. Uses an edged weapon. The dying breed in this universe.
Pretty good, kid.
He's like, I feel like you're somebody I could go get a drink with.
I feel like you're somebody I could go get a drink with too. Unfortunately, I'm on the job now.
Oh, I completely understand that.
But here's my comlink number.
All right, I
if
get
you
it.
ever need any support for anything dirty.
And I tell him where I'm staying. I'll be like, well, I'll catch you in the next couple days.
So he's like, oh, you're staying at the Commonwealth Grand Hotel, huh?
For work.
Interesting. That's real interesting.
We'll talk about how interesting it is the next time I see you.
All right.
I love hearing about interesting things.
He waves down a cab to go take him somewhere. He's literally just like has to take his rocket launcher and put it in the back seat and get to the front.
All right.
How much do we write down? You have a new contact. Okay. By the way, his name isn't actually Rapier, but you can just put down Rapier.
Okay.
Local bandit.
Local bandit.
Low
Number
life.
5.
You picked up 100 seat bills in dollars from the poker.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do before your briefing mission? I know Paradin was hard at work. Unfortunately, he
Hard at work accomplishing nothing.
Yeah. Bandito?
So like right before the
trying to
briefing, I just
think.
finally give up.
All right.
I'm trying to think.
You all arrive in the office together on the 20th, May 20th, of Lou McNessa, who is the Chief Operations Officer of Commonwealth Grand Hotel, sorry. This is a really long name. Commonwealth Grand Hotel Interstellar. And the thing is, the name changes in the fiction depending on what allegiance the Lyran Alliance has, whether it's called the Alliance Grand or whether it's called the Commonwealth Grand. So it's super confusing. This guy is super, super short. Like, he might break 5 foot if he's wearing some lifts in his shoes. He's got raked back green hair that's in
Hey,
a
I'm
mullet.
probably taller than somebody.
But he's wearing a very fancy custom tailored suit, and he just rinses his hands as you come in. He's like, gentlemen, welcome. Lou McNessa.
So pleasure to meet you. Maxwell
Indeed.
Harridan. This is my team.
I know all about all of you. Yep. And here's Sergeant Crimson now. I understand that she's got a new call sign then.
Indeed.
Yes. I got several security intelligence reports about your ship. Seems pretty interesting. Now, why don't you all take a seat in here? I have a bit of a situation to explain on top of the cadre contract we've hired. That's just a smokescreen. We don't actually need you people to train our forces. Of course, we'll use you in defense of our hotels, but the real problem is, and like as he's talking, there's these big metal blinders that are coming down over the windows. The lights all go red, and all the computer screens are just like lockdown mode engaged, lockdown mode engaged. You hear the
I just
door
look over
lock
at
behind
Nine
you?
Lives and I say, I knew it had to be more than lawn furniture.
That's just like, man, you're just sitting there thinking, it's like, people get shot in these situations.
Now I know
Oh,
what you're
God.
thinking. You're thinking people get shot in situations like these, but you're wrong.
How'd you know? Yes.
We've got a bit of a situation here at Commonwealth Grand Hotel Interstellar, and I'd like to keep my job, so I'm sure you'd like to keep your job. When I put out feelers in the intelligence community, several members of the Secretariat recommended your unit to me as being particularly proficient at investigation and, shall we say, clandestine ops. As I understand, Sergeant Crimson there is a former member of the Davian MI5. Counterinsurgency.
She is extremely well trained as well.
Well, fantastic. You see, there are several moles in my organization. I think it's fairly obvious that someone is feeding them the location and contents of guest rooms, valuables, opening safes for them, turning out our vault here at the central headquarters. Our security teams have been suffering unprecedented levels of fatalities in the face of these assaults by these bandits. So we need you to figure out who it is in our organization that is perpetrating these assaults. You have 8 months to complete this assignment, on top of all of the cadre training and defense against these bandits. And if you haven't done it by then, well, I'm afraid I'll be losing my job, and you all probably won't be getting paid.
Understood.
Excellent. Is there anything you need? I am still, after all, the Chief Operations Officer of Grand Hotel Interstellar here on planet.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but if we're going to be investigating these sort of things, then we'll need basically everything. I look at the others, everything.
Unfortunately,
access
I
to
can't
everything.
give you any resources into our company beyond your basic security clearance. You're going to have to infiltrate the old-fashioned way. I don't want to
Illegally.
tip anybody off. Well,
Well,
assume
perhaps
that
if
you
we
have
had
my
a
permission.
few of our, perhaps if we had a few of our people that were hired on as replacement security, it means you did
Yeah,
experience some deaths lately.
Yes, that's true, we have been, but if you're going to do that, I'm afraid you'll actually have to stop working for your mercenary company. The legal contracts required to do that kind of thing are fairly involved. You can't serve two masters, after all.
So
I'm sure the paperwork
the-
could be fudged for a short time.
I see
How
that
about
we're
this?
at an impasse here.
Theoretically, who are the ones that have a higher security clearance than us?
Pretty much everybody at the company.
Even like the rando security people?
You are security contractors for us, so yes.
So we are security contractors, but we cannot access things like security feeds
That's
or
correct.
recordings or reports or anything at all that would in any way allow us to be able to do our jobs.
I'm giving you
Seems
permission.
a little counterintuitive.
No, I'm giving you permission that if you find ways to do those things, retroactively you will be allowed to do those things. However, again, I want to be clear, I don't know how far up this conspiracy goes, and I don't want to be raising any flags.
I see. So
Gotcha.
the hiring of our mercenary company was more just to wave the flag for the guests as far as the corporate heads are concerned.
Sure, that's one way to look at it.
I
Really,
have
the
a,
hiring of the mercenary company was to get you here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Just one. Theoretically, if I was one of your staff, who
But you're not.
exactly? That's why I said theoretically. Who would have access to all the codes for the vaults?
All the codes from
Like what?
Well, I know what you're getting
level?
at. Of course, I would, as would our chief of security, and I suppose several members of our human resources department would also have access to that kind of information. You know, director of
believe-
hotel, that kind of thing.
I
Now, are
believe the
these-
good sergeant here will be requiring personnel dossiers on all of them, including yourself, sir.
Of course. except for me.
So, do you guys use like security cards, stuff like that, or is it just codes you know in the head?
Security codes, of course.
Just
Cards
codes
all
you know
over
in
the
your head.
place.
Okay.
No, the cards. It's the
Oh,
cards.
cards. Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right.
They're all colored, level of access.
What's the highest level of access?
White. I have white.
Gotcha. All right.
You have black. Shouldn't be surprising here.
I'm just asking for future reference.
Okay.
And what would it take to be obtaining a higher security level card?
I honestly don't have any idea, but I'm leaving that up to your discretion. You need to forge it, or steal it, or get HR to print you one. I don't really know.
Excellent.
I was just going to plain old try to steal one, but hey,
I didn't hear that. Unless you succeed.
hypothetically, of course.
Probably the same way of how if lower down ranks to get those cards. If they
Well, I'd love to say that our security is impenetrable, but we have very definite evidence that it isn't. So, yes.
All right. Anything else you need of us, sir?
Do your job? Well,
All right.
be worthy of the price that we're paying.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to lift the lockdown now, if you'll just wait a moment.
Okay. I keep an
you
eye
can
out
see
in
him
case
getting a
someone
little
tries to pull a
nervous
gun.
as he's just like messing with it. He's like, I actually haven't had to do this before.
Oh boy.
Yep. Really
I
should
just
have had
keep
one
an
of my
eye out in
technical
case
staff
someone
on
pulls a
set.
gun.
Oh no, I think I've got it. All right, there it goes. Like all the blinds begin lifting.
Does like get stuck like halfway a little bit because like one code one.
And if there's anything you need that wouldn't be illegal for me to give to you, let me know.
I'll just look at 9 lives, and I'm sure you'll be able to compile a list.
She's just like, you're so fucked. She's gone like catatonic at the idea that this is the actual job.
That'd be fine. I think we got it.
She grabs you by your lapels and is like, Bandito, you are
yeah.
not competent.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
And I feel like that's where we're going to go take a break.
It's like you're telling me what I already know.